Previously on We Accept Each Other.
I'm passionate like fire, red. He's banana, yellow. Black because we can't see him all the time.
The church might have a wrong perception or the wrong understanding behind.
Okay, means just to fulfill the list, just to move on with their
Yes.
relationship.
What if the couple made up of one Christian and a non-Christian, and the Christian partner wants and there's a hope that the non-Christian partner will eventually convert and became Christian? What do you think? Welcome back to Ignite Podcast. We accept each other. Confetti, confetti, clap, 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 clap. We are back. And we want to pick up our last discussion on the last episode about relationships between Christian and non-Christian. Specifically, I posed a question saying that what if the partner, the couple, one Christian and another non-Christian, started the relationship, but the Christian partner had a hope or expectation that the non-Christian will eventually convert into a Christian. But then when they started the relationship, they never talked about this, was not conveyed properly or clearly. And in the midst or in while they are journeying together, they found out that this is a problem. So what should they do, or what do you think?
Maybe I can start first. The first thing I think is instead of deciding whether to continue the relationship or not, I think this shouldn't be an excuses for the relationship. Just stop there. Then the couple, if in this situation, the couple can consider to just sit down and start to communicate to clarify the expectation. Maybe not only that, maybe in the different part, because when you just begin with the relationship, you are so in love with one another, right? So certain things you might not very clearly and clarify about your expectation. So communication on the each other and what can be done for the next couple of months before you ready to decide whether because of this expectation is not met, then you just stop there. I think it's not responsible as well because since you have given the time, you have given the emotion, you are serious about the relationship, you shouldn't just because of these excuses and you stop there right straightforward. I think this is my thought.
Yeah, if you do that, chances are you might end up with a regret. But I think when you communicate expectation, I don't think it only covers the expectation on whether you would be a Christian in the future or not, whether you will share the same faith or not. When you talk about this, you need to talk about a lot of things, like for example, the belief system. What do you both believe in? Because this will translate into a lot of aspects in your life where certain practices of the Christian might not be understood by the other party. They might not understand why we are going to church so often, we are going to cell group so often. And worse still, if we are talking about a female Christian, a male non-Christian, and then the leader or the pastor of the church is a very handsome guy, good-looking guy, single.
Would that be a problem?
That would be a problem.
Why?
When the non-Christian guy felt jealous of the pastor for no solid ground.
Wow.
You get what I mean?
Is it a true story or is it a made-up story?
Some true examples.
Okay.
Do I handsome?
Okay.
Do I look handsome?
Are you a pastor?
No.
He wants to be.
Or he wants to be, but
Yeah.
you're not handsome.
Yeah.
How-
Can
Thank
only
you.
choose one.
True. Then you can be pastor.
God has
Anyways.
I've seen cases where couples fight for such ungrounded reason. Again, being in a relationship, when you have different belief system, of course, we also have to look into the belief system where how much time is supposed to be spent for one another and for other parties involved. And this is also sometimes a big topic when you talk about families, family-in-laws, after getting married, but for another podcast. But the same concept will happen here where the non-Christian might ask, how come my partner is always spending time with church groups, for cell groups, for ministries, worship practices or whatever ministry or whatever thing are tying his or her time down, and they do not understand the reason behind it, and they will start to look for other potential reason, and it could convey to jealousy.
So, which means that the couple need to make space to understand each other, like in the belief system,
Yeah.
and communication, right?
You need to communicate,
Make effort, make space.
but not only talking about whether one day both will embrace the same belief, and in this case, Christianity, and you just stop the conversation there. No, if you are in this kind of relationship, you need to talk more about a lot of things. Expectation on time spent together, activities together, expectation on maybe perhaps outing sessions. I'm not sure, maybe for a Christian, they might not be that keen to explore temples or mosques in a new country when they go for holidays, for example. They might not be keen like to go to look at the architecture, but then this other fella is actually not going there to worship, but they really admire all this building design, the effort put into building such great, majestic things. And then they come to a segment where they decide, okay, we only have few days here, where are we going to visit? And then they will start argument because for the non-Christian, the Christian's reasoning for not going there is ungrounded at all. But then for the Christian, they might really feel not at peace or uneasy stepping foot into these kind of places. And if they never have that mutual respect and communication, it will really create a lot of
Misunderstanding.
yes, and fights that is unnecessary, which in the church elders that we talked about last week concept are things that could be easily avoided if you straight away say no.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're not saying that therefore no, but we're just saying that you need to actually look into a lot of other things that you guys need to communicate together.
Okay.
And again, one more thing is the party involved in that relationship with another non-Christian should never covet another couple that is pure Christians. You get what I mean?
Covered means
Covet, jealous of other couple that. And what if so good your partner is also Christian? You don't have to go through those fights. Wow, I have to, because this mentality will end up
become self-pity.
picking fights when there's nothing to fight. If you have that tendency, I would encourage you to talk to your cell leaders or someone in the church to actually help, because that's why in 10 Commandments there's this one in the Bible. One of it, do not covet your neighbor's wife and stuff like that. And that is literally one of the reasoning behind it as well.
And also want to add maybe a side point. I just realized something really funny is that every time Christian will say that going other people's temples or places of worship is like going to a very dangerous place, the devil will come into your heart. But when the flip side, right, when people come to our church,
Angels will come to your heart.
angels will come to your house, your blessing will come to your house. That is a very funny
Misconception for another podcast.
No, I just feel like when we communicate, right, if you have this kind of this kind of thinking, it's very hard to communicate, because the non-Christian always think that go your church is okay lah. I come to my temple, like the devil will burn you in hell like that. So it's always this kind of feeling, I guess.
But again, it's mutual. Like if you guys visit Europe and there's all this majestic church building,
exactly.
But the non-Christian would maybe be the one that says, I'm not interested, I don't want to step in.
Yeah, but the thing is, we don't say that, they don't say that, this place got ghosts, I gotta go.
No, of course not.
Exactly what I'm saying. But we go to like places like in Asia, where like there's some temples, right? No, we cannot go there because it's idol worshipping lah. I cannot touch it. There's a lot of pantang in Christian.
Yeah,
Right?
I recognize that in my beginning of the years.
It's
in
easy for you to
Christian,
say because you're Xinjiang like
After
that.
after being a Christian, when I go to the temple, I will stop a little bit. Should I go in?
Yeah, when you ask me to come to church, they stop a bit. Why you scared? Why you scared? Hey, give here. Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think this is the first thing we need to settle. Belief system, I think when we talk about mutual respect, you're saying mutual respect, right? I think we kind of, I want to dwell a bit on this, because I was a non-Christian before this.
Wow.
There is always this feeling that why is that your church is always so holy and sacred.
Wow.
But my place of worship is, always a bit fishy and I don't know, man.
Where do you worship with the pastor?
I don't want to tell you. My house. Anyways.
Where's your house?
Alright, that's too far. Sorry. Enough.
So yeah, that's just to point that out, and I really want to encourage Christians that go out and see more things. You want to get burned, just saying.
Even we say so. in the couple might have the tendency because of this, they don't know how to move on, right? So the easy way is to just leave and stop. But doesn't mean that we are saying that, oh, because of you are Christian, you cannot say stop or cannot say no. This is both of your agreement, and after you have go through the communication, you have make effort to like spend time to understand if really cannot work out for moving next step. Both of you will need to decide together as a you are adult, you know, responsible in the decision.
It sounds like you're giving a counseling session.
Sorry, I could confess. Okay, take 4. Just kidding. Okay.
Okay, other than beliefs, what are other things that we can also talk about when
No, I think belief system itself would anchor a lot of other things.
Okay.
Like,
How about
your belief system will lead how you manage finance, for example. Christians, we believe that we need to give tithings to the Lord.
Okay.
10% or not, another story.
Okay.
That is actually not a fixed guideline. But then again, coming from someone who might not believe in that practice of giving to a kingdom to build and that religion, they might not understand. And when we talk about this, we also have a belief that as we give back to the Lord will bless us, you know.
Yeah.
And for them, they will not be able to understand this.
Understand, Chinese understand. You go to Tokong, right? You put the money.
what is Tokong?
You go to the temple. you put the Tenho Gong, right? You put the money.
What's
in.
Tenho Gong,
Guan Yin Ma will bless you one. Same.
Oh, same. Oh, okay.
Yeah, same one. But once here, once lah.
That
Or
one every
twice.
month. You know, and then when you do the budgeting, then there might be that issue, you know. Talking about, and then next question is, who's 10% if they are that downright for 10%?
Before,
Who's
after
10%?
So petty one, man.
The Christians 10% or the household 10%. You know, some people might even calculate before EPF or after EPF, that value,
Up to you, right?
10%. You know, so I mean, there are people that are that accurate and concise. But coming back, all this need to discuss, and it might be a long discussion. It won't be just one session, you know.
Even I'm a Christian now, right? I also feel like, wow, this kind of thing very petty, oh. No, really, I'm just saying that. Got difference, man? You might give, oh. No, I'm just saying from a perspective of non-Christian, they might find this a bit awkward and weird. Why are you so fixated in even finances like this?
Like what?
I want to share.
Go ahead.
I have an experience, right? When I was not a Christian, I heard my friend
You heard HEARD.
HEARD heard.
Oh, you know HEURD.
Okay. Heard that she pledged that she had to give certain amount of offering to the church, and then she found out that she cannot commit to this amount, and then she was pressured and stressed about it, really stressed about it because self-pressure and also the reminding Christians in the church lah. Just saying. So that time I totally don't understand. Don't just ignore it lah. You just put the I mean it's up to you one man, no man. Now church force people to give money one.
Continue.
Right? This is what I think non-Christian will say, ma. Why you church?
You're looking at asking us, right?
you feel ashamed.
No.
May I suggest you feel ashamed?
Why you
when you hear a knocking in your heart?
Why you corner me? Okay, continue.
Why I corner you? I'm asking. I'm just stating an experience.
Continue your
Is that what you're trying to say?
To a certain level, yeah. To a certain level, yes. But again, a couple might argue because of this, rooting back to the origin, they have different belief system.
Okay. So do you expect the couple, the partner, non-Christian partner to also comply?
That's the thing.
Comply means what?
Comply or not comply, there's no right and wrong. There's no perfect or ideal answer to this. End of the day, both parties have to sit down and communicate and communicate what they can accept and what they cannot accept in that mutual respect practice. Like for example, right now, maybe we go another extreme where the Christian is a cell leader and they want
What cell leader? Cell leader means?
Leading a group in the church, and they want to invest a vehicle so that they can fetch more people to church, which the household doesn't actually necessarily need that vehicle.
Oh.
And we are talking about big sum nowadays.
Okay.
Different belief
I
system.
never thought about that in that perspective.
Household.
Very
Means
well.
the cell leader wants to
commercial vehicle instead of a sedan.
meaning using their
Or
own
self-money.
Yeah, for their own.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is a very serious,
That's very.
in a sense, investment, I think.
Yeah, correct. It's a big sum, and then that's when if the other party straight hold, and then if they do not have that mutual understanding to come to the middle ground, that's another point of fighting that will be, you know.
If you're not talking about the material stuff, how about the the emotional and the understanding? Because if something following the teaching is different from Christian or from non-Christian, their family teaching, they about children, like about how they have children. If the children after they have children, will they discuss this method during their relationship in this before entering marriage or not, or even talk about sex,
That's
whether
very
they can
hard.
have
That's
sex
very
or
hard.
in this, because they have a different perspective, ma.
Yeah, because that-
so
yeah.
so that's where this is where the things that they can talk through if they are in this situation, right?
I think that finance itself is already a very, very difficult.
Now whether
Discussion.
who pay first?
Yeah, I mean, regardless are you Christian or not,
Mm.
right? It itself is already a very hard thing to, you know, to. Now, if you're asking about family and
Their thoughts, their understanding.
yeah, what if, I mean, I don't know that. Okay, don't say so far away first with children. What if your in-laws, when you're thinking about marriage now? That is already another very big
Yeah.
I would say obstacle, or there will be a friction lah.
Unless
definitely.
the relationship is aiming toward that, having a marriage, or if it's very short term ones,
short-term one.
it's like they just want to get some friend to go through the uni life or no, I'm not sure.
That is fine, but then if you again talk about marriage,
Fine, okay.
that is fine means short-term anyways, right?
But can they still? Okay, sorry.
Can they still?
Can they still together? Okay, sorry.
That's up to them whether they want to start. I think. What do you think? You
Okay.
want to start?
What do you think, Victor?
If it's short term without marriage aiming, then that is to me
like my
just like
question in the
friendship,
beginning.
yeah.
You think okay?
I mean, the issue where they discuss will not be grounded because Christian or non-Christian, is because why they want to start in the first place.
Yeah.
That issue
Yeah,
will be
okay.
similar, like two Christians just getting together, not aiming for marriage. Then that is a totally different.
Not so many problems lah, I would say.
Yeah, but then that will be a whole different ball game already.
Yeah,
lah.
okay. So, but then we'll talk about if they go slowly move into marriage and family building, should they marry in church?
Which church?
I don't know which church.
In church general,
In church.
If a new church you planted, then
let's not go there. Let's come back.
Pastor
No,
Alex.
that's the thing. Should they marry in the church, in the temple, or just marriage registration? Or
And how you manage expectations from two sides. Of the
yes, then from
in-laws.
two families,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
expectation
yeah, yeah.
on where they
a
should
lot of
get
things they
married
go
in.
through.
So the couple need to discuss and also need to.
Yeah, of course they need to discuss. I'm just
And
saying
decide.
how they navigate around this.
Yes, correct. So there's again no.
Can you provide some Christian?
Do you have any?
There's no
Story or-
100%
Yeah.
answer to it.
Yeah, but how
Every
would you
family
navigate?
will have different expectations.
Let me rephrase. How would you navigate?
Both me and
Around
my
this.
wife are Christian.
I mean,
Alright,
Use your imagination.
Yes, that's the thing. So
Thinking cap. Thinking cap.
again, both parties, both families will always have one family that is more devout to its religion.
Okay.
All right, and the other one might be more easygoing in a sense. So
Okay.
you will circumnavigate there.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that because it is easygoing you compromise, but you can actually talk things through. Like for example, Chinese culture having this great root in tradition, and that tradition is somehow very related to the practices of the religions of the Chinese in the past. We have a lot of practices before marriage that is actually unnecessary, and some people have tied it to beliefs that we might not actually believe in.
Okay.
For example, when I got married, what example should I give?
Oh.
you play a game during the penguin?
Doing the penguin?
I'm just kidding.
I'm certainly lost. I don't know why there's a penguin. China has panda, no penguins.
Penguin
No, I
dinner.
mean-
Oh.
Yeah, certain things like we give tea to
Yeah,
elders,
yeah.
that one, as a sign of acceptance into a family.
Yeah.
For that, we look at it not as worshipping our elders or elders.
Elderly.
All right, we're not worshipping the elders. but we are more like as a sign of respect. Therefore, we offer tea to them. Then for those we are able to circumnavigate that way.
Okay.
I want to throw a curveball here.
Yeah, come.
Try not to.
Not I don't wanna.
Please,
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 ah.
please,
Okay.
please.
What if you need to put joystick on the ancestor altar? I know the Chinese sometimes do some
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
correct.
What would you do? What would
Okay.
you? Okay, don't say what you do. How would you tell your
Friends
your
or couples
your,
or-
coup- your spouse whether are you gonna do that or not? How are you gonna explain to them?
Okay.
It's a
For me-
curveball. Like, don't give me a
Yeah,
right
yeah.
answer. Just a curveball.
For me, I
For
won't
you.
say the answer for
He's
it.
not giving you a right answer. He's telling you what he will
Yeah,
do.
we
ah.
would love to hear from
Please
Alex
don't
also.
fire him. Go.
Okay. For me, putting the joystick, if it is a sign of worship, I would not do it.
You will
Okay.
not- you-
I could bow, as a sign of respect.
Okay.
I could thank the parents, and even if they want me to thank the ancestors,
Okay.
because lineage,
Okay.
I will appreciate, I will thank, I will
Okay.
go sweep the cemetery, the tomb, clean them,
I'm
those
just
kind
talking
of
about
things.
marriage. You don't need to
Yeah,
go so far.
so if that's the case, but if you ask me just putting the joystick as a sequence that they must, and I make known that I'm doing this not because I worship,
Okay.
yeah, but because I embrace this new family that I am going
Okay.
to, I'm going to do it.
And you will communicate this clearly to
Yes,
your
communicate clearly.
to your
In-laws,
imaginary
yeah, imaginary in-laws.
in-laws and spouse. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
I will also communicate this
You-
back to my family as
Okay.
well
Okay. Okay.
to make sure everyone is clear why I'm doing that.
Okay.
How about you, Alex?
I will say the same.
You ask me. Ask me.
What would you do?
Me three.
We finally can agree on one point. But
This is not fun.
yeah.
So okay, like for example, for example the couple, if even they cannot reconcile like whether they want to like have the same faith or belief, but
oh yeah.
will they still continue to
Like build
press
this family.
on
Yeah,
and-
should do they? Yeah.
what will you tell, what would they do? Because if they have already been like 10 or 15 years and deciding to get married, just that still got one part cannot be settled. Yeah.
That is a tough question.
Do you have any like
Maybe we can talk about what if the family decided to go on without reconciling being the same faith.
or yeah,
Christian.
in Saint Mori is not in the same belief.
How is it like?
Not like a, maybe not right.
How is it like? I'm not saying whether got point or not. I'm just asking.
It's like still now, there's no point, right? If you marry, you don't believe what is told or what it says, but just want to go through that feeling and having
How
all
do
three
you know
less.
the person want to go?
I mean,